Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praise unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Boharak HaKadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. Honors your brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So I wanted to do this quick video here, going into a particular thought, an idea that I had regarding basically the hell that you're catching within your so-called day-to-day life, and it's from the perspective of pretty much how the Lord was when he was on the scene, because the Lord, was catching hell, quote unquote, or went through particular things, not only just for the sins of the 12 tribes of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, but also too, the iniquity that he had did when he had lived on the scene as King Solomon. Now, when you transpire that idea into your life, then one thing becomes very evident, in that the Most High at any point and any time is justified to make a move on you, That is to say, you might be doing all right for a hot minute, but you don't know what kind of wickedness that the Most High doesn't have it to where you might have flashbacks, but the Most High hasn't had it to where, for the most part, you're gonna know what you was doing and who you was and so on and so forth, in your previous life. And the reason I use the example of King Solomon, which is Yahweh Shai, is that was the greatest man that's ever lived, on the face of the planet. And when you read the history on King Solomon, and then you see the comparisons, the thing that one wants to do is to go via, the scriptures and say, the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. So if I'm a prophet today, then that means I was a prophet, in the past. But the reality of the situation is, you don't know what you've done, what you did, in the past, and that could mean the Most High is justified to make a move on you at any point, and that's a humbling statement. The reality of the situation is that's a very humbling statement, because really the Most High is, you could do all of this work, and the Most High could just spew you out. So that's supposed to keep you humble, and also supposed to keep you in a state of mind to where you're never really too comfortable. You're never really too comfortable within this thing, and you're always praying. Remember, the scripture says that pray without ceasing. So when you're in that mindset of the Most High can make is justified to make a move on you at any point, then you should be humble, man. And ultimately you're gonna be very thoughtful about the moves you make. So I wanted to start off with this scripture here within the book of Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, and the 6th verse. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." You might wonder why I use that scripture as the first scripture, but the reality of the situation is the knowledge that you're being jacked up because of the wicked acts that you potentially did in the previous life, or the wicked acts that you know about that you did within this life. That's stability. Especially when it start. I mean, a good example that comes to mind, you think about the 7 brothers that are spoken about within the book of Maccabees that had to basically die at the hands of an Edomite, for a witness unto the Most High, war Yahweh Shai. What was they speaking about? They were saying, look, we're gonna take this L, but we're taking this L because of the wickedness that we did. I remember that they, something to that effect. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but something to that effect was said within that particular verse. And that's how men were back in the day. They had a mindset of saying, hold on a minute, I did all of this wickedness before I came into this truth. The Most High is justified to make any kind of move on me. Now, are you just gonna walk around, woe is me, the Most High could destroy me tomorrow? No, because the scripture says that the Most High is also the Most High has got tender loving mercies, man. Okay, so you know, you can catch a break here and there, but ultimately the mercy is going to be fully exemplified at the coming of Yahweh Shai. But that coming of Yahweh Shai could take place after you've already been put to death. Okay, but if you die a righteous death, okay, if you die a righteous death, then you're going to be a partaker of that glory. See, that's the kind of mentality that I pray Yahweh Shai, you know, has me further, and it has it to where you brothers get into. Because when you get into a mentality of even in death, that you're going to go out and you're going to go out the right way, then, you know, you're going to be all right, man. That's going to be stability. And that stability is going to lead unto what? Unto salvation. That's why the scriptures couple stability and salvation and strength all in one, and the fear of the Lord too, all in one sentence. Because really, if you truly fear the Most High, then even unto death, you was going to hold down his name. Okay, you was going to hold it down, and you was going to be down for the cause, man. And the same thing goes for the strength and the salvation and so on and so forth. You know, so it's just a, you know, it's just a thought. You know, you could do, you know, brothers, you could do videos on this. You could expound upon the precepts in the you know, in the comment box. Okay, I mean, I could have gone into all other kind of scriptures, but you know, the point kind of made. You know, okay, the point's made in that you know, remember, ain't no man out here that's walked this earth perfect except for Yahweh Shai, and the Lord's justified in making a move on you at any minute, man. And I'm not talking about just, oh, you know, someone spilled coffee on my new sneakers or something bugged out like that. I'm talking about like the Lord could take your legs out and be justified in it. Okay, the Lord could have it to where, you know, you lose your job, you lose your woman, okay, you lose a family member all in one day. The Most High could do that. Okay, and he'll be justified in all of those works because the scripture says it within the book of Job. Okay, who died ever being perished? See, you gotta be, you know, if you're talking about how much hell you're catching and you don't deserve all of this hell and whatnot, or whatever kind of madness, you're being proud. Okay, because a humble person is gonna come to the conclusion. Okay, you're gonna come to the conclusion. I'm not saying every day you're gonna be like that. We're all human. We're all flesh. It's gonna come some days you're like, man, Lord, please come on, man. That's too much. And you know, when you read the scriptures, you know, that's how really, you know, the prophets and that they said certain things like that unto the Most High, and the Most High, you know, lessened the burden, so to speak. A good example that comes to mind is the Ezekiel, when the Most High told him to eat. You know, I mean, it's not exactly like for like examples, but the Most High said to eat, you know, the man's dung, and then he lessened it to what cow's dung. Okay, he was still eating shit. Okay, he was still eating shit, but the reality of the situation is you can, you know, there's some certain times you're gonna be like, man, this is too much. But other times most of the time you're gonna be like, you know what, really I deserve all of this hell that I'm catching. Okay, so hopefully that's of edification. With that, I'm gonna say, oh, praise unto Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Okay, double honors unto the apostles of GreatMillStone. Honor you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.